Welcome back everyone to our channel. This is a series of videos where we answer all the questions that you guys submitted or questions that our clients have had in the past. If you have not already, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. That helps us out tremendously, and let's get into it. When you're thinking about how you're marketing and how other people are experiencing your Airbnb and the process that they go through, your photography is always going to be your hook. That's why we say it's your biggest marketing tool. It most certainly is the thing that is going to be your biggest way of drawing new guests in on Airbnb. Therefore, it is your initial hook. Your line is going to be the design of your property. So when they actually step foot in the property, the worst thing that can happen is you can have amazing photography and then they walk into the property and they're like, wah, wah, wah. It doesn't line up with your photo. So you want to make sure that the design and the amenities and the experience that they have in your property outdoes the photos, with the photos being great. And the sinker, the absolute cherry on top that will guarantee you a 5-star every single time, is the level of communication that you give your guests as a host. Again, Airbnb is an investment, but first and foremost, it's a hospitality game, so that communication is extremely important. That's why property management companies can be so valuable, because if you are not strong in communicating well with your guests, that is something that you should outsource so you can guarantee those 5-star reviews. But your photography, your design, and great communication are the three things that will set you up for an extremely profitable Airbnb. This one's so fresh on my brain because I had photos taken yesterday and I made a massive list of things to not forget when they're here that I've forgotten in the past as my properties have been photographed previously. One, if you've got a sleeper sofa, make sure that you have the sleeper sofa photographed in where the couch is just a normal couch, and then also after they photograph it, pull that sleeper sofa out, dress it up, put the bedding on it, put some pillows on it, and make sure they take a photo of it with it out as well. Same thing if you do have a pack and play, which I would highly recommend every Airbnb having a pack and play for parents who don't want to drag that with them. Make sure that you get a photo of the pack and play all set up. Also, any amenities that you have on the interior or exterior of your property, make sure those get photographed. So if you have a ton of board games, make sure that that board game closet gets photographed. If you have kayaks, make sure that the kayaks get photographed. If you have a hot tub, make sure the hot tub is open, running, has a couple of wine glasses by it, and you stage that properly. Same thing with your dining table. You want to stage it. You want to actually put the plates and the dishes and the cups and the silverware on the table, just to really help create that experience that people are going to actually have themselves when they stay at your property. And we have learned this so through and through as Emily and I have worked with investors in the past. First and foremost, investors are money conscious. You have to be as an investor inherently, but you also have to make sure that you're putting the proper amount of energy, time, furniture, experience into your property to see the revenue that you want to see on the back end. So when we think about Airbnb properties, there are absolutely areas that you can splurge and areas that you can reel in. When we're thinking about areas that you can splurge on, I would highly recommend thinking about what we call high touch point areas. Areas in your property that are going to see the most traffic, that have a functionality aspect to them. For example, you want to splurge on a sofa or a mattress because the sofa and the mattress are the two areas in your property that people are going to be spending the most amount of time. Whereas when it comes to a nightstand or a lamp, they're a little less functional. They're a much lower touch point area than the bed and the sofa, so those are areas that you can kind of reel it back in. Honestly, we got into short-term rentals not exclusively for the monetary perks. The monetary side came after, and it was a double bonus. For us, Airbnb has always been primarily a lifestyle play. For us, we wanted spaces that we could travel, spaces that we could host our friends, spaces that made us money when we weren't there, that weren't going to bankrupt us. The idea that we could have vacation homes and wherever we wanted, and those vacation homes would also pay us and be a great investment and a great way to grow our money, was such an insane concept that we couldn't not try it. So for us, the non-monetary perks have always outweighed the monetary perks, because the non-monetary perks add so much more value to your life than a rising bank account. Personally, and I would say this probably reigns true with Superhost Labs as well in all of our properties, I value average daily rate over occupancy. Reason being is because, especially during COVID, we went through a phase where occupancy was really low, obviously, when the world came to a screeching halt. And so we lowered our average daily rate significantly. And the occupancy didn't really rise from that, but the clientele got significantly significantly worse. For me and for Superhost Labs, we want to be offering quality spaces that bring in a higher end clientele, which also means that you're more respectful to your neighbors, your property sees less wear and tear, the communication or the experience dealing with that guest is a lot better, and so having a higher nightly rate typically brings you in a higher quality clientele, and it just makes your life significantly easier. So I would rather have a lower occupancy rate and a higher nightly rate than the latter. Is to make short-term rental investing passive for people who do not have the time and energy or know-how to do it themselves. Short-term rentals are arguably the best real estate investment that you can make currently in today's climate, and not everyone can put together a short-term rental. It's an insane amount of work. It's so much more cumbersome than a long-term rental, and on the back end the operations are a lot heavier as well, but the margins are significantly higher. For us, we wanted to create a solution for those people who saw the value, wanted to be involved, but didn't have the time or team to do so. Having a team of experienced hosts all collectively helping someone has never been done before, or at least not in my experience. It could be being done, but I don't know that it's being done at the scale that we're doing it. The value of having our team behind you is that all of us come from different markets, and because Airbnb is so hyper-local, it gives us a lot of exposure to things that us individually wouldn't have any clue about. It helps you as the investor avoid a ton of mistakes, and it helps us as partners with you also avoid mistakes because we're leaning on each other so heavily from experience. All of us exclusively had properties before this, and now together are trying to create something that allows more people into this space. That is a question we get from people who haven't put together a short-term rental on their own. If you have, you know the value of that team because you've felt the pain of putting together a short-term rental solo. It's insane. The amount of moving parts that you have to coordinate to furnish and brand and market and list and occupy a short-term rental is massive. It's massive. I mean, it takes several months for us to bring one property to life. And so if you are new into this space, not only do you get to avoid all the mistakes that we've made in the past by partnering with us, but you also get to bring your property to life a lot faster with a lot more experience. All the way around, the money that you pay to partner with us, you absolutely save on the mistakes that you're not going to make. For us at Superhost Labs, we have this mindset that we want to be competing in the 90th percentile in every single property that we produce, whether it be for our diversified portfolio or for a short-term rental that is one of our investors exclusively. Our proprietary technology underwrites so many Airbnbs every single day, which allows you to enter in any market that you want to and analyze all of the properties nearly immediately, so you can be selecting from the most profitable properties on the market at any given time. Also, on the back end, even if you did buy the most profitable property and you didn't have good design, you didn't have good photography, you didn't have good management, you're not going to reap the rewards of the potential of that property. So all the way through, we're making sure that we're hitting every single point along the way to make sure that you're performing in that 90th percentile. Courses. I know that courses are oversold and that everyone offers one and that it's hard to understand what course is the most valuable. What I would say is a lot of the courses are very similar, but all of us as Airbnb hosts, we've all gone through so many mistakes, and these courses are a compilation of all of the mistakes that we made and ways to avoid those mistakes and to consolidate your learning. Me personally, I didn't take any courses and it cost me a lot of money. Significantly more money. Thousands of dollars versus a couple $100 course. So for us, we would highly recommend taking courses, plugging in any communities that you possibly can. Facebook groups can be a good place, Slack channels can be a good place, Discords can be a good place, but the more plugged in you are and the more knowledge you are consuming around Airbnb, the better investor you're going to be. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you've learned something and you want to consume more of this content, again, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any questions that you want answered on one of these videos, please slide them into our DMs on Instagram at The Carwells. Catch you next time. Bye.